Kasi hindi pa tayo nagsa-start. Hello, good evening then. So welcome to, I think this is already the third free review of Tenten's Academy. I'm sure a lot of you have already attended the previous ones back then in January and February. Is this your first time? Sino dito yung mga first time umattend ng session ng Tenten's Academy? Ay, marami pa. Okay, because I was actually expecting na baka we can not go over the things that I already discussed then. Because some of you, if umattend na kayo before ng review ng Tenten's Academy, yung una kong deliver na review was that for biology. And then yung pangalawa, it's for reading comprehension. Okay? So tonight, I was tasked, okay, to deliver another review session again for reading comprehension. So since some of you, sabi nyo, first time umattend, so maybe we can go over some of the things, some of the basics na tinuro ko last time during reading comprehension. Okay? Wait, sumasabog yung chat box. Okay lang ba kayo? Is this the second day of the review? Kahapon, was that with si Ned Mejia, tama ba? Oh, and how was it? Gusto ko sana umattend kahapon kasi nakikita ko din online si Ned. But I heard nagturo daw siya ng biology. So it was great. Okay, so medyo, okay, kind of medyo pressured. Okay, sobrang galing daw ni Ned. So I'm hoping that tonight would be as productive as your review session last night. Pero bago tayo magsimula, siguro maybe we can hear from you guys. Gusto ko rin naman malaman kung tagasan yung mga participants natin tonight. Pwede mag-check-in tayo with siguro kahit just your name and then kung saang school kayo galing or yung place ninyo or whatsoever. Bicol, Cebu, Ilocos. May sobrang dami. Okay. And yung mga degree programs that you guys are eyeing for, architecture, accountancy, okay, sobrang dami. You know what? Lahat ng mga yan, okay, gagamitan nyo ng reading comprehension. Because basically, the test would require you to read questions. Okay? So, the reading comprehension subtest, the mga tinuturo namin sa inyo, it's not just applicable to one subtest. Okay? Because if you remember, yung mga umattend dati sa session ko, reading is basically just a process of decoding. We can read anything. Okay? That's why we can read minds, we can read body gestures, we can read environments. Okay? And that's just one of the key thing na makikita niyong pinapaulit-ulit ko dito sa reading comprehension review. Before we officially start, okay, allow us first to introduce the products of 1010's Academy. You guys were saying na gusto yung pumasa ng UPCAT with these degree programs. Okay? 1010's Academy has produced quite a lot, okay, of scholars. Nagsimula kami, I think 2023, 2022 dito sa UPCAT. But then, since 2024, we have 356 scholar ng bayan. Okay? And ilan sa tingin niyo yung mga nagte-test ng UPCAT taon-taon? Nasa ilang number kaya yan? Nasa 100,000. Okay, and then imagine, ang nakakapasok lang ng UP, ilan sa tingin ninyo? Yes, nasa 112 yung last time. And ang nakakapasok lang, minsan nasa around 10,000 to 13,000. Okay? Napaka-konti nun. Okay? But then, syempre gusto natin pumasok ng UP. It also comes with the realization na bakit kaya sobrang sought after ng university na to? Because when you go into UP, you will be exposed to lots of these courses. Okay? Yung magiging mulat ka sa society, magiging critical ka mag-isip, di ba? And as early as now, I want you to think about this. Bakit kaya dito sa Pilipinas, kailangan pa nating makipag-agawan ng mga slots sa mga kapwa din naman nating estudyante na may parehas na karapatan na mag-aral para lang makapasok sa isang school, di ba? Try nyo i-expand yung pag-iisip nyo na, di ba, just the fact that I'm applying to this university, wouldn't it be so much better kung lahat naman pala ng schools ay same footing, di ba? And that's a very relevant discussion, lalo na ngayon na sobrang nakikita niyo siguro sa Facebook yung discussions on or discourses on pagtaas ng presyo ng langis, di ba? Yung mga jeepney drivers natin, wala nang kinikita. Nakita niyo ba yun? I hope you guys are aware of that kasi kapag nag apply kayo for state universities and colleges, it's very easy na, okay, magre-review ako para lang pumasa sa exam. But what's after this? Diba? What's the bigger purpose of this? Okay? And if you want to get into UP, you must have the capacity to think about those things. Diba? Maging mulat sa mga nangyayari sa lipunan. Okay? It also comes with the understanding na kung hindi nakapasa yung isang tao sa dream school niya at sa dream program niya, it doesn't necessarily mean na siya ay bobo. Diba? Kasi sometimes we have that kind of thinking na yung mga matatalino lang, yung mga nakakapasa sa mga sets, no? But that's not a fact. Diba? Just the fact na merong ilang mga tao or ilang mga estudyante na kayang mag-enroll sa review center para mag-review at mag-prepare, that's already some form of privilege, di ba? But not everybody has that. Not everybody has the resources or kahit yung level ng support na nakukuha nila sa mga magulang nila. Okay? And that's also the reason why Tentence Academy is conducting series of free reviews. Okay? Para hindi man lahat nakaka-try mag-enroll, siguro let's say walang budget, but then at least they get a glimpse of what it feels like to be under a review center, di ba? We're extending ourselves to you guys by conducting these review sessions for free. Naintindihan? And Titans Academy, we've produced lots of scholars ng bayan yan. You might be one of them soon and we're very excited for you guys kapag if you ever decide man to enroll. Okay? And just some of the testimonies na mga nakapasa ng mga students namin, just showing it to you guys, okay? So you can consider, maybe after this session, mapag-isipan ninyo na, oh, gusto ko palang mag-enroll dito sa Tentance Academy. Then later on, I'll discuss to you guys ano pa yung mga inclusions ng review program and also how to enroll, how to transact basically. So ilan lang to sa mga messages that we have been receiving. Okay? Sobrang dami pumasa. Not just in UPCAT, but also in other college entrance tests. Just need to punta lang kayo sa page ng Tentance Academy sa Facebook. Ngayon makita nyo yung mga pumasa ng mga students namin. And who knows, baka susunod na kayo. Okay? So yan, marami pa. Actually, kahapon ba pinakita rin nila tong mga slides na to? Or like yung mga testimonies? Bas-bas daw. Okay. Meron kami mga students before na sabay-sabay silang nag-review. They belong in one group sa review namin. Then sama-sama din silang nakapasa. Then over 10. Okay? So, ganyan karami. It's basically, this point, just telling you that we are in a position to say na, okay, you're in safe grounds. Okay? If ever man na mag-decide kayo to enroll in 1010's Academy, then meron kayong assurance that yung mga tao na nasa likod ng review center na to ay hindi lang tinatrato tong review na to for the sake of, 'di ba, makapag-produce, but like to really develop relationships with each other. Kasi itong mga to, we still have contacts with them. We still talk to them. Actually, last time, meron nga kaming student na nag-testimony pa dun sa free review namin. Okay? And soon, malay nyo kayo din. So ito yung regular review program ng Tentance Academy. It's 3999. Inclusions, quizzes, problem sets, handouts, everything you need. Okay? And even simulation exams. But meron tayong group discount. Okay? Kapag nakapag-form kayo ng group of 6, okay? Merong 1,500 off. So 2,499 na lang siya from 3,999. But then may special discount currently ang Tentance Academy kapag ikaw ay nakapag-invite ng six other more, okay? Ikaw, nakapag-invite ka ng six other more of the same school, libre ka na. Okay? So, bali 7 kayo. Kung ikaw yung nag-invite nun sa 6, libre ka. Basically, ganun siya. Okay? Iba pa siya dito sa discount na kapag 6 kayo nag-apply, then 2,499 siya. Naintindihan? So, yung isa na nag-invite, pwedeng libre. Okay? Sige, mamaya papakita ko sa kayo pwede mag-enroll. But we also have honors discount. Kapag nasa 95 and above yung G1 ninyo, you just need to send proof. Kapag nagtatransact na kayo, then you can avail this discount. Okay? Sige. Bago tayo mag-start, do you have any questions? Isa-send by recording. Ayan ang hindi ako aware. Because kahapon ba sinend? Wala. Okay. So pay attention guys. Okay? Pay attention. Alam niyo ba kung anong pag-aaral natin tonight? Okay, no question. Alam niyo ba kung anong topic natin? Okay. So hindi kayo nagbasa dun sa in-applyan ninyo. Ano ba yung nakasulat dun sa Facebook post ng 10 Academy? It's reading comprehension, hindi math, okay? Hindi language proficiency. Last time we talked about the basics of reading. Yun yung second free review session ko. I think some of you attended that. But tonight, specifically, we will talk about another aspect of reading comprehension. We're done with the basics. Pero since sabi ninyo kanina, ang daming mga first time pa lang na magjo-join tonight. Tama ba? Can I have a show of hands or like chat box o sino yung mga ngayon pa lang magjo-join? Okay. Sige. Siguro pwede tayo mag-recap very quickly. Okay, kung ano yung tinuro ko last time. Because medyo mahalaga yon sa mga ituturo ko supposedly dapat for tonight lang. Okay, so let's just do quick recap on the basics of reading. Because wala tayong, we were never formally trained how to read. Okay? Parang it's just like nung mga early years natin, tinuturuan tayo like kung how do we read this? If this is the letter, then ano yung pronunciation niya and then anong meaning ng word na to, 'di ba? But we never really had this proper education on ano ba yung mga techniques na pwede nating gawin para makapagbasa ng mas maayos, ng mas naiintindihan natin. And on my last session, okay, kung saan din natin yung iba, we talked about things that we can read. Okay? And yung mga things na to, ito yung nagsistart sa letter T. Ano yung letter T na sinabi ko last time? It's, we can read text. Okay? Kaya kung kilala ninyo, si Teacher Laika, famous siya, di ba? Nakikita niyo ba yung mga content niya? Si Teacher Laika Maravilla. May idol ko yan. But then, sometime in the past, meron siyang post, sabi niya, seryosong tanong, bakit text ang tawag sa text? Eh, picture naman siya. Damay-damayan na to. Yes, magaling siya, di ba? Alam niyo ba yung text? Di ba text yung laruan, yung para siyang mga papel na may mga pictures, tapos maliliit siya, tapos kinakalat-kalat, di ba? So, bakit daw text yung tawag? Eh, picture naman siya. Di ba? So kung hindi kayo umattend nung session ko before, maybe nagme-make sense tong klaseng post ito by Teacher Laika. Okay? But if you attended and heard that text is basically any combination of signs or symbol na nagko-convey ng meaning, then you would know na yung text na yun, it's actually text pa rin. Kasi text can be written, oral, or visual. Basically, anything which can be used as a placeholder for meaning can be considered a text. Okay? Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na written text. Because if so, kung puro letters lang pala ang text, then that would be redundancy. Nasabihin mo na written na nga, text pa. Because we have other kinds of text. Ano yung oral text, pag nakikinig ka ng music or audiobook. Pag nanonood ka ng movie, that's an audio-visual text. Pag nakakita ka ng painting, that's a visual text. Ng logo, lahat na yan. Text yung mga yan kasi they are placeholders for meaning. Naintindihan? And outside of these examples, ano nga ulit yung isa pang klase ng text na hindi written, hindi oral, hindi visual? Ano sa tingin niyo? Ang mga bulag ba kaya magbasa? Yes. Paano sila nagbabasa? Anong ginagamit nila? They use braille, di ba? Alam niyo yung itsura ng braille, yung kinakapa nila na may mga tuldok-tuldok. Okay? That's an example of a tactile text. Because basically, yung tactile experiences na yun na nakukuha nila from touching that material, which is a text, di ba? It's basically a placeholder for meaning. Kaya kapag sinabi nating reading, its basic definition is that it's a process of decoding symbols, which are text, to arrive at meaning. Kaya pag sinabi nating reading, it's a very uh, broad process. Okay? Reading can be applied in reading written text, diba? That's how we usually do, diba? But then we can also use reading to refer to processes like reading a room, reading an environment, reading between the lines. Because, diba? Reading a body gesture. Because that involves a process of decoding. Diba? Ang mga symbols na to, Wala namang inherent meaning yung mga yan. Tayo lang yung naglalagay ng mga meaning. Even the letters or symbols, tayo lang yung nagsasabi na ang pronunciation sa letter na to ay ganito. At ang yung ibig sabihin ng ganitong combination ng letters ay ganito. Di ba? Arbitrary ang language. Kapag nagbabasa tayo, dinedeconstruct natin yung mga inattach natin na meaning dito sa mga symbols na to na walang inherent value. Okay? So that's basically the basics of reading. And in my last session with you guys, meron akong shinare sa inyo na three-step strategy on how we can do better in reading comprehension. Ano yung tatlong yan? When we talk about strategy, ito yung mga long-term plans, okay? Kumbaga, bird's eye view kung paano ka magpre-prepare. Ano yung tatlo na binigay ko sa inyong tips? You need to increase what, and what. First one is increase vocabulary, correct. Increase your vocabulary, basically your pool of phrases and words that you know the meaning of. Ano yung pangalawa? Increase your reading speed. And then lastly, increase your, oh, may mga nag-take notes last time. Increase your familiarity with the different types of questions and passages. Okay? And specifically in this order. In this order, mauuna si vocabulary, si reading speed, bago yung question and passage types. Kasi, bakit? Bakit sobrang mahalaga na mas mauuna mong, I mean, mas mahalaga na mag-expand ka ng vocabulary rather than just merely trying to increase your speed. Kasi, usually, kapag sinabing reading comprehension, ang napipicture ng mga bata pag nagsasagot, kulang sa oras. 'Di ba? Sobrang haba ng passage, hindi natapos, kipit sa time, walang nasagutan. So usually, ang binibigay na tips, it's to practice reading faster. Bilisan mong magbasa. Okay? But this is actually a very dangerous advice. Okay? If you tell someone na just to do better in reading comprehension ay kailangan magbasa lang ng mabilis, hindi yan effective. Kasi paano kung nagbabasa ka ng mabilis, hindi mo naman naiintindihan yung binabasa mo. Di ba? That's why last time also, again, just to recap, we talked about the components of language. No? Iba't ibang levels kung saan pwede tayo mag-analyze ng language. Okay? In the topic of linguistics. Pagpalagay niya to, naalala niyo pa to, yung Fei Shang, Gao Sheng, Qi, Xiyang, Chonghu. Naalala niyo tong, uh, etong statement ni Sara Duterte last year, ng Chinese New Year. Di ba? Kaya ko kayong basahin ng dire-diretso. Di ba? Fei Shang, Gao Sheng, Xiyang, Chonghu. Because I was just reading it at the level of phonetics and phonology. Because maybe alam ko yung sound rules, I know how to pronounce it, but I don't know the meaning of the words. But I can continue to read it as fast as I can. So kapag binigyan kita ng tip, hindi ka Chinese ha, hindi mo gets to. Tapos binigyan kita ng tip, bilisan mo magbasa. Kaya mo yan gawin. But the comprehension is compromised. Okay? Hindi mo naiintindihan. Because sa reading comprehension, ang mas mahalagang aspeto, hindi yung phonetics and phonology. It's at the level of semantics and pragmatics. Okay? It requires analysis at the level of, pag sinabing semantics, ito yung literal meaning. Ano yung literal na meaning ng word na to or ng phrase na to? Pragmatics, how do you use it in context, in discourse, in conversations? Kaya nga sa reading comprehension, if you've ever tried answering practice questions, di ba may mga tanong, what is implied in this paragraph? Ano yung wala, hindi nakasulat, okay? Pero ine-evoke nung text, di ba? Diyan papasok yung pragmatics, di ba? Anong gustong sabihin ng author nung sinabi niya yung line na to? Yun yung semantics, ano yung literal meaning. Naintindihan? So, yun yung tatlo, di ba? Kaya kailangan unahin ninyo yung vocabulary, okay? Prioritize expanding your vocabulary because you cannot decode what you don't understand before delving into the reading speed. Okay? Yan yung mga tinatawag nating mga strategy. Okay? Yung tatlong yan kasi yun yung parang bird's eye view. Intindihan ninyo? But then, let's try to differentiate what a strategy means, okay, compared to what techniques mean. Kasi yung tatlo, those are strategies. Kapag sinabi nating techniques, okay, ito yung mga actionable steps na pwede nyong gawin the moment na nagsasagot na kayo. Okay? So kung yung tatlo kanina, those are the strategies. Etong mga to na nasa bullet points, these are the techniques. Okay? Naalala niyo pa ba yung mga yan? Yung mga chunking, pointer use, timely measurement. Do you still remember that? Yung mga nag-attend before, again, bilisan lang ulit natin para lang in the same page tayong lahat. That was the size of vocab. Last time, I talked about reading speed. Diba? Kung paano natin pwedeng mapabilis yung reading speed natin. And basically, some of the techniques na shinare ko sa inyo was chunking, pointer use, and then constantly measuring your speed. Okay? How fast should you read? Pinakita ko din to sa inyo last time. Okay? This is actually a website where you can identify kung gaano kayo kabilis magbasa. WPM means words per minute. Ilan ang kaya mong basahing words per minute. So this would test you. Okay? Ideally, para masabi mo na mabilis ka nang magbasa, dapat nasa 600 WPM yung rate mo. Okay? And that should be measured, that should be tracked. Kasi paano mo masasabi kung may progress ka if di mo naman siya ginawa? Okay? But the thing is, on increasing reading speed, kadalasan may mali sa technique natin kung paano tayo nagbabasa. Okay? I introduced you already to this concept called subvocalization. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating subvocalization, it's the process of internally pronouncing the words in a text while engaging in silent reading. Kunwari, kayo, 'di ba? Sa ating dalawa, kayo, hindi kayo nagvo-vocalize, 'di ba? Ako binabasa ko para sa inyo, but then kayo kapag siguro pag binabasa niyo tong mga words na to, you're just doing it with your eyes. Subvocalization, yung tawag natin dun sa proseso kung saan pinapakinggan mo silently sa utak mo yung mga words na binabasa mo. Ganon din ba kayo magbasa? Yes or no? Diba? Parang hindi mo man siya sinasabi verbally, but then in your mind, pinapakinggan mo, okay, process of internally pronouncing the words, okay? Pero kung ang priority natin is to increase reading speed, that process is actually harmful. Okay? We should not sub-vocalize, okay? Kung gusto nating mapabilis yung reading speed natin, it's actually an improper technique, okay? Kasi if you always need to hear what you are reading so you can understand it, then that means that you can only read as fast as you can speak, not as fast as you can think. Naintindihan? Nagets nyo yung point ko dun sa sinasabi kong huwag kayo mag-sub-vocalize? Because reading comprehension, it's a process of trying to look for patterns. Diba? Hindi mo siya babasahin word per word, but in reading comprehension review program, your goal is that by the end of the review, makakita ka lang ng group of words or even isang tingin mo lang sa sentence, alam mo na yung ibig sabihin niya. Kasi nagde-decode ka lang naman ng meaning, 'di ba? Sa mga symbols na 'to. Hindi mo kailangang basahin phonetically in your mind. Naintindihan? So don't sub-vocalize. And ilan sa mga tips na binigay ko sa inyo para maiwasan yung pagsa-sub-vocalize, number one, nandyan yung chunking, 'di ba? Chunking is basically kapag instead of trying to read words one by one, ang ginagawa mo, 'di ba usually kapag nagbabasa ka, iniisa-isa mo yung word, 'di ba? At kapag ganyan yung process mo, nagsa-sub-vocalize ka. But then, if you are trying to chunk things, okay, you try to expand your peripheral vision to see more words than just one. Diba? Kunya, kapag nagbabasa ka, nakikita niya yung difference, di ba? Mas mabilis ka magbasa kung mas marami kang tinitreat or mas marami kang dinedecode at a specific time. Naintindihan ninyo? Are we clear on that? Yun yung tinatawag nating chunking. China-chunk mo sila sa mata mo para mas marami kang nakikita all at once. Okay? Again, recap to. If you missed that, yeah, I discussed this extensively before. But then if you want to know more about that, then you might want to consider availing the regular review program because we teach that more in depth kapag nandun na kayo. The next one is basically yung paggamit ng pointer. Hindi ko na siguro ito masyadong pupuntahan. Basta tandaan ninyo, kapag nagsasagot kayo ng mga reading comprehension questions, kapag nagbabasa kayo ng passage, always use a pointer. May lapis kayo pag nagsasagot kayo, di ba? May ballpen kayo. Or kung wala kayong lapis or ballpen, meron kayong index finger. Di ba? Gamitin nyo yan bilang pointer. Kasi merong medical explanation yan actually. Okay, again, review lang. Meron tayong dalawang klase, or maraming klase, but ilan sa mga relevant for reading comprehension ay itong dalawang klase ng eye movements that we call saccades and pursuits. Pag sinabi nating saccades, okay, ito yung klase ng movement ng mata natin kung saan tumatalon-talon siya. Okay? Kapag nagbabasa tayo, usually, saccadic yung style. Tumatalon yung mata mo from one word to another, okay? Yun yung saccades sa tinatawag. But when we say pursuits, ito yung klase ng eye movement kung saan dire-diretso lang. Imagine, kunwari, nasa daan ka, nanonood ka sa highway, tapos merong dumaan na kotse, okay? Dire-diretso lang siya sa paningin mo. Di ba kapag nakatingin ka sa kotse, sinusundan lang ng mata mo yung kotse nang walang paputol-putol. Yun yung tinatawag nating pursuits because it's smooth, dire-diretso. Kapag sinabing sakad, sumatalon-talon ka. Okay? Normally, ganyan tayo tumingin. Ganyan gumalaw yung mga mata natin. Kapag sakadik, di ba, from one point to the next word, to the next word, to the next word, to the next word. Di ba? But then in pursuits, okay? Sa pursuits, let's say gumamit ka ng index finger mo or ng pointer para basahin yung mga words, di ba? Try nyo tignan tong index finger ko. Pag nag-move ka from one point until this point, okay, anong nangyayari? Hindi na puputol yung eye movement mo from one point to another. Kaya kapag pursuit yung ginagamit mong eye movement when reading, which is then help kapag meron kang pointer, pag gumagamit ka ng lapis, okay, hindi napuputol kaya yung movement ng mata mo, mas mabilis kang nagbabasa. Naintindihan niyo ba yung point? Okay? Kaya in a nutshell, okay, read in groups of words and while reading, use your hand use your hand or your pencil as your pointer. Okay? Naintindihan? Are we clear on that before we go to the actual lecture of the night? Lalo na para dun sa mga first time umattend. Okay. If you miss catching the in-depth lecture on that, okay, maybe you can consider joining the regular review program. Okay, but then that's on the reading speed. Okay, the things we can do to increase our reading speed. Yung dalawang yan, yung vocabulary and reading speed, yan yung mga pinag-usapan natin in the previous session, in the previous reading compre lecture na dineliver ko sa inyo. But specifically for tonight, okay, for tonight, 7:38 na pala, dito tayo magpo-focus on how you can increase your familiarity with the different types of questions and different types of passages. Okay? Bakit natin kailangan i-increase yung familiarity natin with the different kinds of questions and different kinds of passages? O bakit mga may nag-aaway sa chat box? Okay, yung iba, pwede niyong i-mute yung mga, I think pwede niyong i-mute yung chat box. Okay? So, going back to the lecture, okay? Sobrang mahalaga na i-increase natin yung familiarity on the different types of questions and passages kasi yan yung mga mismong ihaharap sa inyo kapag nag exam na kayo. 'Di ba? Kung familiar ka sa ganitong klase ng passage, then you can expect, okay, ano kaya yung klase ng mga tanong na lumalabas? And in the same way, kung ganitong klase ng tanong yung binigay sa'yo, kung alam mo yung passage, saang parte kaya ng passage ko pwedeng mahanap yung sagot dito sa tanong na to? Okay? Again, just to stress why the need, okay? Getting familiar with the passage and the question types allows you to identify where to look for answers, okay? And when to speed up or slow down your reading. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin yan? Yung mga sinasabi ko kanina, sabi ko dun sa increasing your vocabulary, increasing your reading speed, yung mga strategies na yun, hindi nyo naman yan gagamitin on the spot every single time na meron kayong passage na makikita. Instead, pipiliin mo lang kung saan ka mas bibilis magbasa, saan mo kailangan mas bagalan yung pagbabasa, and it comes with knowing kung ano yung tinatanong mismo sa'yo. Naintindihan ninyo? Kasi, eto kapag nagsasagot na kayo ng mga passages sa exam, you need to understand this frame of mind, okay? Dapat may mindset shift kayo. Sa sets, magkaiba yung tinatawag nating reading for the sake of understanding dun sa tinatawag nating reading for the sake of answering a test. Gets nyo ba yan? Hindi kayo nag exam para i-appreciate yung passage. Okay? Hindi yun yung bare minimum. Hindi kayo nandun para basahin yung buong passage tapos enjoyin, no? Hindi yun yung goal nyo kapag nagsasagot kayo. Instead, your goal is to answer a test. It's to score high. It's to score better than other people. Magkaiba yon. Pwede mong masagutan lahat ng mga tinanong sa'yo kahit na wala ka talagang nagets dun sa kabuuan ng passage na binigay sa'yo. Kasi nag-focus ka lang dun sa kung ito yung tanong, ito yung hanapin kong sagot. 'Di ba? But then some people fall for that trap, no? Na kapag nagbigay ng passage, ang unang instinct nila, it's to read the passage tapos saka sila magbabasa ng mga tanong. Okay? Hindi ka nandun mag-exam para i-appreciate at intindihin ng buo yung passage. Because after all, ang reading comprehension subtest, it's a skill. Okay? And you need to practice that skill. Pwede kang mag-understand without answering a test, okay? It outside of the review program, di ba? If your hobby is reading and your goal is to really understand and appreciate a passage or a text, di ba? Pero that doesn't necessarily mean na para masabi mong naintindihan mo ay kailangan ka magsagot ng iba't ibang mga tanong, di ba? So, again, hindi sila mutually exclusive but at the same time, iba yung goal na kailangan ninyong ma-master kapag nagpre-prepare kayo for reading comprehension. Okay? That's why on the different types of questions and passages, ilan sa mga types of questions na mahanap ninyo or pwedeng ma-encounter ninyo sa mismong exam ay nagre-revolve lang dito sa 15 na ito. Okay? Explicit detail, fact or opinion, main idea, title, ano daw yung pwedeng title dito sa passage na to, ano yung theme, inference, okay? Ano yung implied dito sa passage na to na hindi sinabi pero totoo, prediction, ano yung mangyayari after nito, interpretation, ano ang ibig sabihin ng author dito, vocabulary, ano ibig sabihin ng word na to, purpose, ano yung gustong iparating ng author dito sa line na to, anong purpose niya dun sa buong passage, function, ganun din, tone and mood, okay, ng author and its audience, organization, paano siya na-organize, sequence, and illustration. Okay? Yan yung mga iba't ibang types ng questions na pwede ninyong ma-encounter. And unfortunately, hindi natin yan maiisa-isa tonight. And each question type would have its own specific technique para masagutan nyo siya. Okay? Ang gagawin lang natin tonight, it's to give you a specific kind of passage. Kasi again, maraming iba't ibang klase ng passages. Meron tayong narrative, expository, persuasive, descriptive, technical, and literary. Ang gagawin natin tonight is basically selecting one type of passage and then giving you sample questions para ipakita ko sa inyo na sa question type na to, ito yung technique na kailangan kong gawin para masagutan itong ganitong klaseng passage. Are we clear on that? Bago tayo mag-proceed. Clear? Wala nang nagagalit sa comment section? Okay. So, sige. Meron ba kayong mga phones na gamit other than your devices or okay. Meron tayong pretest. So, bibigyan ko kayo ng 10 minutes para sagutan itong Google form na to. It's just a 5-item quiz. Very generous pa yung 10 minutes para sa 5 items. Okay? But you can use your current device. Okay? 7:45 magsisimula. Mag-e-end tayo 7:55. Okay? Sige, ito yung link. bit.ly/4b, capital A, capital P, small d, 98. Or you can just scan this QR code tapos sagutan ninyo. Okay, 7:45. What? 7:45, 10 minutes. Balik kayo dito. And then we answer it one by one. Ayan. Thank you sa nag-chat. 7:55, 10 minutes. Alright, tapos na ba kayo magsagot? Sige, ano mga scores nyo? Pa-chat naman. Although nakita ko yung average medyo nasa threes. Okay? But some of you got 5/5. Okay? Alam nyo, if there's a time to be wrong, it's the moment before you actually do take the test. Okay? Sa mga naka-perfect, congrats. Sa mga hindi naka-perfect, I mean, it's just a pre-test. Hindi nyo pa nga naaaral. Pre-test ko lang kayo. Okay? Alam niyo ba yung title ng binasa ninyong passage? Nabasa niyo na yun ba yun before? It's it's actually Sonnet 29 by William Shakespeare. Napag-aralan niyo na ba to nung English lit classes ninyo in junior high school? This is usually taught grade 9, I think. English literature. Kasi 'di ba, grade 7, I think that's Philippine literature. Grade 8, it's Afro-Asian. Then grade 9, English lit. Tapos grade 10, classic. Tama ba? Okay, but not all the sonnets. Anong una niyong ginawa nung nagbukas kayo ng form, tapos nandun na kayo sa page number 2? Ang una niyo bang ginawa ay nagbasa ng tanong or nagbasa ng passage? Kasi, okay, pag salpak sa inyo dun sa test, mali, nababasahin nyo agad yung passage. Of course, dadaan yung mata nyo dun sa passage. Pero hindi nyo babasahin like mabagal, okay? Isa-skim nyo lang siya, okay, I'm dealing with a sonnet right now. But your eyes must proceed immediately to the first question. Ano yung first question? In the third line of the first stanza, the word bootless most nearly means, ano sagot nyo dito? Okay, the correct answer here is letter B. Hopeless or ineffective. Okay? Hindi mo naman kailangang mabasa yung buong passage para masagot tong tanong na to because this is a kind of a vocabulary question. 'Di ba? Kailangan mo lang hanapin kung ano nasaan yung bootless, 'di ba? Kung ano may iba man siyang meaning other than what this word inherently means. Pero hindi mo kailangang basahin yung buong question. What if yung mga questions sa passages na to, puro vocabulary? So hindi mo na kung alam mo naman yung meaning, edi sagutan mo na, wag mo nang basahin, 'di ba? But let's look at the word bootless within the context of this sonnet. Okay? Yung bootless saang line niyo makikita yung bootless? It's on the third line of the first quatrain. Kapag sinabi nating bootless, walang kwenta, hindi napapakinggan, di ba? And trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries. Sinisisi yung bingi na langit dahil hindi pinapakinggan yung mga hinaing ko. Okay? That's bootless. Walang saysay. Okay? Now, I highlighted some words na pwedeng makita nyo dito sa, okay, just for the sake of knowing new words today or tonight, okay, yung mga beweep, bootless, scope, despising, lark, sullen, scorn. Alam niyo ba yung meaning sa mga to? What does beweep mean? Pag sinabi nating beweep, it's to mourn, it's to cry, it's to lament, okay, pinagluluksaan. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin. Bootless, we're already done with that. How about scope? Ano ibig sabihin ng scope? Scope can mean range, okay? Or yung mga kakayahan ng man na ito, di ba? It's sabi dito, desiring this man's art and that man's scope. Oh, pwede rin capabilities, di ba? Scope, di ba? Ano yung mga kaya niyang gawin? That's scope. Despising, ano ibig sabihin ng despising? To despise means to hate. Correct. Okay? How about lark? Ano ibig sabihin ng lark? Like to the lark at break of day arising. Ang lark ay isang uri ng ibon. Okay? Ibon na kumakanta. So at this point, parang kino-compare to ng author. Hindi pa natin siya iintindi in its entirety. Ha? Tinitingnan muna lang natin yung mga words na posibleng di nyo alam. Lark is a kind of bird na kumakanta. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating sullen, anong ibig sabihin niyan? Sullen means gloomy, malungkot, sad. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating sullen earth, pwede yang mag-refer to a moment of darkness. Kunwari, bago mag-sunrise, 'di ba? Bago mag-sunrise, madilim, 'di ba? It's gloomy, it's sullen. 'Yun yung ibig sabihin niyan. Naintindihan? How about scorn? To scorn means to reject, to hate, to not like. Okay? Naintindihan? Other than the bolded words dito sa text, ano pa yung mga hindi ninyo alam na words dito? Para ma-address natin bago natin siya i-analyze moving forward. Haply, partly. Diba? Parang haply, partly. Yung ibig sabihin. Thy, ibig sabihin you. Least, pinaka, hindi. Diba? Kabalik na ng best. Least. Scorn, kakasabi lang natin yan. Ano pa? Thee, ikaw, you. What else? Outcast state, nahihiwalay, na-outcast, na-isolate. Diba? When we say trouble, deaf heaven, trouble, deaf heaven, sinisisi yung bingi na langit. Hymns, kanta. Disgrace, disgrasya. O ano pa? Friends possess, ibig sabihin, meron siyang friends. Meron siyang, di ba kapag sinabi nating possession, pag-aari. Sinasabi dito na, etong lalaki daw to, meron siyang mga kaibigan na kinoconsider niya as his own. One more rich in hope, ang ibig sabihin niyan, etong tao daw na to, mas may hope siya. Okay? Ibig sabihin, mas may potential siya. In this context, yun yung ibig sabihin niya. Contented, contento, 'di ba? Curse my fate, 'di ba? Curse my fate, parang sobrang baba ng tingin ko sa sarili ko. Okay? Parang kina-curse mo na akong fate. Basically, it's your destiny, 'di ba? Pag sinabi natin happily, it means partly. Okay? Or like in a subtle way, I think of you. Parang ganun. O sige, mamaya natin i-discuss yan isa-isa kasi ngayon, ang purpose lang natin dito, it's to look for vocabulary that might be unfamiliar to you guys. Some of the words, you can search them in the dictionary naman, di ba? But then, the specific answer to this question, it's letter B. Hopeless or ineffective. Walang saysay, walang nagagawa yung cry niya. Next, which of the following best describes the rhyme scheme of the given sonnet? Anong sinagot niya dito? Eto, madali lang tong sagutan by just observing the poem itself. Okay? Ang tamang sagot ay letter D. It's A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Okay? Titignan nyo lang yung poem mamaya. Okay? Pero sa unang tanong, di ba, it's just a vocabulary question. It doesn't require that you guys have an idea of what a sonnet is. Okay? Pero dito, merong rhyme scheme. Familiar ba kayo sa rhyme scheme or is it something that you just first encountered tonight? Ano yung yes? Familiar. Yung iba hindi familiar, okay? But what you're dealing with, yung binigay kong passage sa inyo, it's called a sonnet. Kapag sinabi nating sonnet, okay, it's a poem that consists of 14 lines. Basta 14 lines, that's a sonnet, okay? But 14 lines na merong sariling rhyme scheme, okay? Sariling pattern, sariling rhythm, okay? At yung klase ng sonnet na yan ay nagde-depend sa kung sino yung sumulat ng sonnet na yan. Anong klaseng sonnet yung binigay ko sa inyo? That sonnet, it's called a Shakespearean sonnet. Kasi in English literature, maraming iba't ibang klase ng sonnets, but some of the more popular ones ay yung tinatawag na Shakespearean sonnet na ginawa ni William Shakespeare. Ano yung isa? It's the Petrarchan sonnet. Na sinong nagsulat naman? Si Francisco Petrarch. Kaya siya tinawag na Petrarchan sonnet. Okay? But yung mga ginawa ni Shakespeare, ang tawag dun sa mga yon ay Shakespearean sonnet. Ilan sa mga main features ng mga sonnets ni Shakespeare is that it's numbered, okay? It's sonnet 29, yung binigay ko sa inyo. But hindi lang yun yung title niya. The first line of the sonnet, it's usually the title. It's actually the title of that sonnet. And in terms of structure, it's composed of 3 quatrains and an ending couplet. Kapag sinabi natin quatrains, anong ibig sabihin? Quattro, apat. Meaning, this is a stanza which contains 4 lines. Okay? Stanza na merong 4 na linya. Ngayon, ang sonnet daw ni Shakespeare, merong 3 quatrains. Ibig sabihin, 3 times 4 lines, that's 12 plus kapag sinabing couplet, 2 lines. Stanza na may 2 lines. So in total, ilan yon? 3 quatrains, so 3 apat, so that's 12 plus 2 equals 14, which qualifies it as a sonnet. Okay? Ngayon, ang mga sonnets ni Shakespeare, it follows a particular rhythm which we call an iambic pentameter. I-park muna natin yung idea na yan right now kasi papakita ko yan sa inyo mamaya. At meron din siyang signature na rhyme scheme, ayan yung sagot, yung A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Kasi, for example, si Petrarch, yung mga Petrarchan sonnets, yung rhyme scheme niya, hindi A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, F, E, F, G, G. Alam niyo ba yung rhyme scheme niya? It's A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A, C, D, E, C, D, E. Okay? Pero kay Shakespeare, lahat ng mga sonnets niya, ito primarily yung fina-follow na rhyme scheme. Try natin isa-isayin yung mga yan. So again, ano yung title nitong Sonnet 29? The title would be the first line, which is When in Disgrace with Fortune and Men's Eyes. So that's the title of this particular sonnet. Kapag sinabing three quatrains and a couplet, this is one quatrain. One quatrain, one quatrain, and a couplet. So in total, ilan siya? 14 lines na merong tatlong quatrains at isang couplet. Naintindihan? Ngayon, punta tayo dito sa sinasabi na rhythm, which is iambic pentameter. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating pentameter, this has something to do with what you can find or how you would read each line of the poem or the sonnet in this case. Kapag sinabi nating pentameter, ano kaya ibig sabihin yan? Kapag sinabing penta, ilan yan? It's 5, ibig sabihin 5 meter. Okay? 5 meter. So ano kaya ibig sabihin ng meter? Ano ibig sabihin ng meter? Kapag sinabi nating meter, that's 1 foot. Okay? Bilangin nyo nga kung ilang syllables yung mababasa nyo per line. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. That's 10 syllables. Okay? Yung 10 syllables na yan, that's equivalent to a pentameter because 1 meter is composed of 2 syllables. Nakuha niyo yung point? Kaya siya tinawag na pentameter kasi 5 siyang meter kung saan ang isang meter ay may 2 syllables. Okay? Bakit siya tinawag na iambic? Okay? Hindi to masyadong mahalaga kapag nagsasagot na kayo, but it's just a nice information to know. When we say iambic, ito ay isang klase ng foot, okay? Composed of one unstressed and followed by a stressed syllable. Okay? Nagmamatter to sa paraan kung paano mo babasahin yung poem. Try natin siyang tingnan. Pagbabasahin niyo to, when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. Yun yung tinatawag nating ayam. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating ayam, ibig sabihin, it's 1 foot na mababa, tapos saka magsa-stress pataas. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng ayam. Okay? Magbigay nga kayo ng isang word na iambic siya basahin. Again, before, ano pa? Object, before, ano pa? Hello, 'di ba? Kapag kababaliktad, kapag nasa umpisa yung stress, we call that trochee or trochee. It's trochaic, 'di ba? Baliktad. Ladder, money, content. Pero kapag pataas, above. Kapag after, after. Hindi yan iambic. Okay? So, ang mga sonnets ni Shakespeare, it follows this particular rhyme scheme. Okay? Iambic kasi puro siya pataas, puro siya sloping pataas. I all alone beweep my outcast state. 'Di ba? Lahat ng mga line dito sa sonnet na to, it's composed of 10 syllables, composed of 5 iambic feet. Kaya siya tinawag na iambic pentameter. Naintindihan niyo? Yan ang signature ni Shakespeare. Okay? Paano mo malalaman kung pataas sa pababa? Ganun lahat ng mga sonnets ni Shakespeare. Okay? That's for the rhythm. The more important part na tinatanong sa question, it's the rhyme scheme. 'Di ba? Yung sinasabi natin kanina na A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G, ayun yung mga yan, no? Yung A, yun yung eyes and cries. Yung B, yun yung state and fate. Yung C, yun yung hope and scope, and so on and so forth. Nakikita nyo? Rhyme scheme, di ba? Eyes rhymes with cries, state, fate, hope, scope, possessed, least, despising, arising, state, gate, brings kings. Di ba? Brings kings, yun yung GG dun sa dulo. Okay? Maraming sonnets sa Shakespeare. 154 lahat ng sonnets na sinulat niya. Kapag iisa-isahin mo yan, hindi ganun ka-perfect. But then the trend is, ito yung ginagamit niyang rhyme scheme. It's always A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Si Petrarch, Francisco Petrarch, ang ginagamit niya, it's not this. It's A, B, B, A, B, B, A, A, B, 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 A, A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A, C, D, E, C, D, E. Siya yung letter A dito. Okay? Yung binigay sa inyo, it's a Shakespearean sonnet. So, ang tamang sagot ay letter D. Yes, always na A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G ang kay Shakespeare kasi yun yung signature na structure ng kanyang sonnet. Yung Petrarchan sonnet, that's letter A. Kung si Shakespeare, ang mga sonnets niya, it's always 4, 4, 4, tapos 2. Si Petrarch, yung mga sonnets niya, it's 8 lines na tuloy-tuloy, tapos 6 na tuloy-tuloy. Hindi siya tatlong quatrains, tapos ending couplet na dalawa. Naintindihan? Okay. So that's for question number 3. Okay. So alam nyo na. Alam nyo na ang structures ng sonnets si Shakespeare. In this next question, it was asked, what is the primary function of the ninth line found in the third quatrain? Ano sinagot niya dito? This is, hmm, this is letter C. It marks a shift in the speaker's state and perspective. Okay? There is something very special about sonnets in general. Tinatanong niya dito ano daw yung function ng ninth line. Nasaan ba dito yung ninth line? The ninth line is the line that you would find at the first line of the third quatrain. Diba? Second quatrain, third quatrain. This is the ninth line. Meron tayong specific na tawag dito sa line na to ng mga sonnets. Or Shakespearean sonnet to be specific. We call this, starts with letter V. We call that the volta. Okay? Ang mga ninth line ng Shakespearean sonnets, okay, yan yung tinatawag nating volta or transition point. Okay? Kumbaga, diyan mo makikita yung plot twist ng sonnet. Kasi pwedeng ang sonnet, magsisimula siyang malungkot, okay? Pero pagdating ng ninth line, diyan magsisimula. Okay? Diyan magsisimula yung transition niya na magiging masaya na siya. Diba? Ganun ang pattern palagi ng mga sonnets ni Shakespeare. Pwede magsisimula malungkot, tapos at the ninth line, tingnan niyo yung first word. Yet, in these thoughts, myself almost despising. Pero, kahit na dinedespise ko yung sarili ko, di ba? Diyan nagsimula yung change in tone. Okay? Yung contrast na tinatawag natin. And that's always in the ninth line of a Shakespearean sonnet. Ninth line din yan sa Petrarchan sonnet. Okay? But know that volta, it's the transition point. Eh yung tanong sa inyo, it's specifically, what's the function of the ninth line? Kahit na hindi mo puntahan or basahin yung question, but just by knowing that the ninth line is always the volta, that would prompt you to think na, okay, ito yung transition. So maybe, tamang sagot ay letter C. It marks the shift in the speaker's state and perspective. Okay? So that's the second to the last question. Tama ba? Ay, hindi. That's question number 3 pa lang pala. The next question, what do the final 2 lines suggest about the speaker? Nakikita niyo so far, hindi pa natin binabasa in depth yung sonnet, di ba? Sinasagutan natin siya in fragmented ways. Binabalikan lang natin yung mga relevant lines na kailangan alam. In this specific question, tinatanong kung ano naman daw yung ibig sabihin ng nasa final 2 lines. Okay? Ang tamang sagot dito ay letter B. He believes love has made him feel richer than even the most powerful people. Ang pinapertain ng 2 lines na yan ay yung ending couplet natin or yung last 2 lines. Let's try to read it. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Ano ibig sabihin? In Shakespearean sonnets, yung last 2 lines, that's basically the summary of the sonnet. Kapag nakita mo, okay, 442, this is Shakespearean sonnet. Pwedeng ang basahin mo na lang yung last 2 lines because the last 2 lines summarizes everything. Okay? Sinasabi, for thy sweet love remembered, sa tuwing naaalala ko yung love na associate ko with you, I feel so happy that I would even refuse to exchange my place with a king. Yun yung ibig sabihin niya. Sa sobrang saya ko, tuwing naaalala ko yung pagmamahal mo, I don't care about being a king anymore. I don't care about exchanging my state with a king because that happiness is even greater than that. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng last two lines. And yun din yung kabuuan na ine-evoke ng sonnet na to. Okay? Yun yung ending couplet. Okay? Kaya ang tamang sagot dito, it's letter B. He believes love has made him feel richer than even the most powerful people. That's the ending couplet. Okay? It's a clincher statement. The last question, which of the following best expresses the central theme of Sonnet 29? Nasagutan nyo na yung question before this. That's the summary. So given that summary, ano sasagot nyo dito? It's love has the power to transform one's perception of personal misfortune. Kasi nga, 'di ba, umpisa bootless cries, outcast state, pero tuwing naaalala niya daw yung pagmamahal nitong guy na to, na-transform yung perspective niya on that own person's misfortune. Letter A. You didn't have to read the whole sonnet. Naintindihan? Because ang Shakespearean sonnet, sabi ko kanina, it's composed of 154 poems delving into themes of love, beauty, time, mortality, and the complexities of human relationships. Yung 154 na yan, nakategorize pa yan or nakagroup sila. Yung first 126 sonnets, ang topic niyan palagi, it's always about a young man. Okay, referred to as a fair youth. Sa ibang mga sonnets niya, makikita nyo na nire-refer to ni Shakespeare as the fair youth. Okay, but 1 to 126, it's all about a man. Kaya meron mga scholars na nagsasabi or nag-argue for the homosexuality of Shakespeare kasi maybe, okay, ina-admire niya talaga tong lalaki na to na topic niya sa sonnets 1 to 126. Okay? But that's just a scholar argument. Okay? Yung sonnets 127 to 154, okay, kapag nabasa niyo yung mga sonnets or kapag babasahin niyo, you would find na yung topic naman niya dito, it's all about a mysterious woman that he would refer to as the Dark Lady. Okay? So yan yung pattern. And just by knowing that what's given to you, it's sonnet 29. Okay, this sonnet, it's all about a young man referred to as the fair youth. Diba? So, itong mga context na to, nabibuild nyo tong mga to kapag alam mo na ganito yung pattern, di ba? Oh, I'm given a Shakespearean sonnet. This is the pattern associated with a Shakespearean sonnet. This is his specific rhyme scheme. This is his rhythm that he is using when constructing a poem. This is the topic of this specific poem kasi sonnet 29 siya. So, this must be about the fair youth. Di ba? If you know that, di ba, nabibuild yung pwede mong ma-predict na pattern given na ito yung tinatanong na binibigay sa'yo. 'Di ba? Nakuha niyo yung point? Kaya ngayon, you just need to look at the last two lines of this sonnet to answer the central theme, which is letter A. Love has the power to transform one's perception of personal misfortune. Naintindihan niyo? Kaya dito papasok yung sinasabi ko sa inyo that reading for the sake of understanding, it's not the same as reading for the sake of answering a test. Kasi hindi naman natin binasa ng kabuuan yung sonnet na binigay ko sa inyo. 'Di ba? We read it for the sake of answering a test. Kahit na hindi ka marunong, like, kahit na hindi ka fan ni Shakespeare, or kahit na hindi mo alam ang yung mga patterns na pinagsasabi ko kanina about the Shakespearean sonnet, but if your goal is to answer a test, then still you wouldn't read it from the top, but work your way backwards. Ito yung tanong, ito yung hanapin ko. You skimmed it the moment you saw it, you identified that this is a poem, you scan it with objective. Ito yung hahanapin ko lang. Naintindihan? Mind blown daw. Okay. So then, tapos na tayo. Then sa reading for the sake of answering a test. Okay? Just to end this session with a greater appreciation for the arts and the literary works of Shakespeare, let's try to understand Shakespeare's Sonnet 29 line by line. Para lang maintindihan ninyo. Because Sonnet 29, it's actually my favorite sonnet. Okay? When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, kapag si author daw ay nasa disgrace. Kapag sinabi nating disgrace, anong ibig sabihin? When in disgrace, kapag nasa awful situation daw siya with fortune, 'di ba? Ibig sabihin hindi siya sinuswerte. O kaya pangit yung paningin sa kanya ng mga ibang tao. Nasa state of disfortune, of kahihiyan, okay? I all alone beweep my outcast state. By myself, nagmo-mourn ako sa kondisyon ko being an outcast from them. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin ng line 2. And trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, at sinisisi ko yung binging langit dahil hindi pinapakinggan yung mga hinaing ko, and look upon myself and curse my fate. So magsa-self-destruct siya tuwing realize niya na sobrang nasa state of misfortune siya. Okay? That's the first quatrain. The next quatrain, wishing me like to one more rich in hope. Sana ganun din ako tulad nung isang tao na mas may potential. Ito na yung fair youth na sinasabi natin or yung young man na topic niya. Kino-compare niya yung sarili niya dun sa young man na yun. Featured like him with friends possessed. Okay? Meron siyang mga features na gusto niya na meron din siya tulad nung pagkakaroon ng mga kaibigan. Because remember, in the first quatrain, it's being developed na siya ay outcast. Okay? So sana ganun din siya tulad ng fair youth na to or ng young man na to na merong mga friends. Okay? And the author desires this man's art and that man's scope. Sana meron din ako ng mga kakayahan na meron siya, ng mga potential na meron siya. With what I most enjoy, contented least. Diba? So parang hindi siya nagiging kontento sa mga bagay na meron siya at the moment. Ako ha? So the first quatrain, it's basically all about trying to introspect of the author trying to introspect how they feel. Okay, specifically with the misfortunes happening. Second quatrain, it's all about comparing themselves with the fair youth or the young man. Okay? Dito, sa Volta, naalala nyo, Volta, it's, pang ilang line ng Volta? It's the ninth line. Okay? Yet, pero kahit na gano'n, na hate ko yung sarili ko, yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state. Kahit na gano'n, tuwing naiisip kita, at ng kondisyon ko, okay, tuwing naiisip kita, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth. Kino-compare ko yung sarili ko sa isang ibon na kumakanta galing sa dilim papuntang madaling araw kung kailan sumisikat ang araw. So nakikita niyo yung imagery dito. The imagery is like mula dilim, mula gloomy, sullen earth, okay? Yung bird daw na yon na kumakanta. Okay? Kapag dawn na daw, kapag sunrise na, lumiliwanag, doon niya daw kino-compare yung experience tuwing naiisip niya tong young man na to. No? From darkness, napupuntang heaven, di ba? Like a lark singing hymns at the heaven's gate. Nakuha niya yung imagery. Kasi, okay, ang ending, for thy sweet love, kasi daw, tuwing naaalala ko yung love, okay, it brings me so much wealth that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Naiintindihan niyo? That's Sonnet 29. It's very deep. Okay? It's a kind of a Shakespearean sonnet. And there are many more Shakespearean sonnets. Okay? And we only have an hour. That would end our lecture actually. Because that's just a glimpse of how we would teach you in the regular review program. Because this is just one passage type. That's a literary passage type. Meron pang iba. Merong narrative, expository, persuasive, descriptive, technical. And each passage type, pwede kang mag-expect ng iba't ibang klaseng question types based on the passage, di ba? Pwedeng explicit hanggang illustration, but for this specific session, ang napag-aralan lang natin ay 5 question types. Okay? 5 lang when there are so many more types of questions and passages which we would like to discuss to you guys if you enroll to our regular review session. Okay? So I think this would be my last lecture for reading comprehension because we've basically covered vocabulary, reading speed, and pahapyaw din ng question types and passage types. Sa buong review program natin, we will go about these things with more depth, with more practice exercises. Because again, our time is limited. And this is just a free review session. Just to give you a glimpse of what you can expect when you're inside the program already. Okay? So again, just sharing the screen. Ito yung, wait, may share ako na isa pang slides. Okay? Nakita niyo ba yung slides ko right now? Okay, wait. Let me share my screen. Nakikita niyo ano nakikita niyo ngayon sa screen? Sorry. Logo, okay, sige. So, just para lang on the same page tayong lahat. Okay? So, Sorry, hindi talaga gumalaw. Okay, so kapag mag-enroll kayo, ito yung Facebook page ng Tentance Academy. You can just directly message, but then medyo matagal lang mag-reply kasi we're dealing with so many inquiries. So, tip lang kapag nag-message kayo, wag na kayo mag-follow up kasi kapag nag-follow up ulit kayo, mapupunta ulit kayo sa pinakababa. So, just message once and indicate your intent to enroll to the OPCAT review program. That's already fine. Just wait na lang to be acknowledged. And some of the inclusions of the review ay, of course, you would be given mock exams, prelims, midterms, and then finals, and then recorded lectures. Okay, yung mga hindi nakaka-attend, okay, pwede nyo lang yung panoorin asynchronously. And then meron ding face-to-face, hybrid. Okay? Ito yung current tentative schedule ng OPCAT review. So magsa-start na siya on April 25. Yan yung prelim mock exam. So parang diagnostic exam yan. And then magra-run yan hanggang June 30. Okay, so April to June, yun yung review season natin. Makikita nyo naman dito yung mga times and dates na kailangan yung inote and it's usually gabi. So kung meron kayong ganap sa mga umaga, that's totally fine. If di kayo maka-attend, merong recordings. Okay? Ano pa? Ayan. Sorry, hanggang July pala. Hanggang July 28. Let me correct that. April hanggang July 28. July 20 hanggang 28, yan yung final coaching. So, pukpukan na yan. Kasi ang UPCAT ay sa August. 'Di ba? So, ayan, some of the things na may experience nyo in the review program. Timed prelim, midterm, final mock exam. Open cameras yan, of course. And then sa mga face-to-face students, ayan, ito yung setup namin. Meron mga face-to-face din na nag-exam. And we also conduct coffee shop reviews. Minsan, um, ano lang, like random lang, kung sino yung mga gustong sumama. It's not part of the regular review program, but like out of concern, kami mga teachers, minsan nagaya kami, uy, dito kami sa coffee shop na ganito, gusto yung pumunta, tas review tayo as a group. We do that as well. Ito yung ilan sa mga coffee shop reviews na nangyari na before sa Espanya. Meron pang iba na nangyari sa Davao because one of your professors, si Sir Dairo, ay nakatira sa Davao. Okay, so yung mga taga Davao man dito, okay, pwede niyong puntahan si Sir Dairo tapos ayayin ninyo, mag-free review siya or like mag-review kayo as a group. Okay? So we focus on the basics because again, you would not be able to answer complex questions if your foundations are shaky. Okay? So all these and more, yan mga yan, okay, we hope for you guys to experience it if you enroll in the regular review session. Okay, ito ilan sa mga teachers nyo. Sila Sir Ten. Okay, I think na-meet nyo na sila kahapon. Ito pala yung address ng face-to-face. It's in R. Papa Street, Sampaloc. Okay? Ayan. Siguro nakita niyo yung mga iba dyan sa TikTok or sa ads in Facebook. Soon you might be one of these people. 'Di ba? Sino mag-aakala na yung um, mga randomly lang nag-review or like nag-commit into a review program on March 20 would be one of these people soon, 'di ba? So, we're excited for you guys for that. Okay? Any questions na meron kayo? How do we commute to the review center? Ano, mabibigyan naman kayo ng instructions kapag nag-enroll na kayo. Okay? But then, ang masasabi ko lang, if you have an intention to enroll, just please message the page, Tentance Academy Online Review Center. It's on Facebook. Medyo konting patience lang dahil maraming inquiries, so be patient na lang kapag hindi kayo ma-replyan agad. Okay? Sige. With that, we will see you tomorrow for the last day. Tama ba last day na ng review session? So, good night and thank you so much sa pakikinig. Thank you din. Okay. Sana mas love nyo na ang poetry a little bit more because of our session tonight. Alright, good night. Sige, end ko na yung session. Bye-bye!